performance. Will he be able to withstand the pressure as Portal, let's go. Land of Dawn, here we go as well for the first game between RRQ and Bigatron Alpha.
All right, let's jump into the Land of Dawn here, as we do have some moments here to come back into the drafts, right? Because when I take a look at it, it feels like Bigatron have drafted themselves 2 winning lanes. Correct me if I'm wrong here, Mirko. In the EXP, I do believe that Arlet is going to have a better time, especially before level 4. I know Arlet isn't necessarily the best laner in the world, but compared to the presence of a Lapu Lapu before he gets his level 4 or his ultimate, he doesn't do as much, and you can kind of see that being reflected in the lane. And the same can be said here for Saken on the Melissa in the top lane. So it really depends on how this mid lane matchup goes. I feel like Moreno on the Farsa and the Kaja should be able to clear a lot faster, in my opinion, depending on where the Lolita paths.
Yeah, spot on. You know, mid lane control definitely in the hands of Bigatron Alpha with the Kaja and the Farsa. In the XP lane as well, Arlet versus Lapu, it is going to be an Arlet with the advantage. But up top, the winning lane obviously is because of the skin diff here. MLBB X Jujutsu Kaisen, guys. You guys can go and check it out, man. It's kind of crazy. It's so good, man. Gani, is it still up? Can I still get it?
It's still up. You can get it twice.
What?
You can get it twice. But again, first minute here, spell nothing too fancy. Emblem pretty much standard. And it seems like with Banana, I mean, he did an okay. It's an okay lane. Take a look outside though. Already 6 members of both teams already filling that up, but it seems like it's just contest turtle.
And yeah, again, you can see the lane matchup right now. Saken is just going to be bullying Skylar. He's not even going to be able to get in range for the first kill to connect. Meanwhile, on the bottom side, Super Ken trying to make his way in.
First blood though, perfect stun by Banana, and it's just a comfortable turtle take by Albert. Vindo will pop that Numenum Blast to again find and engage. But it's just super
Yeah, right now you can feel that the diff comes from the jungle, honestly, because even if Bigatron has all 3 winning lanes, even though they are going to be a bit more mobile around the map, the problem is if they even want to try and snowball from that early game, get that early game lead, and go in for the neutral objectives, the Akai is not an easy contender to face, honestly, in that jungle, especially Albert was able to secure it rather easily, and I just see a dysfunction in that sense in terms of that draft.
I agree, right? I mean, Bigatron Alpha have the winning lane, like we mentioned, in the XP and even in the mid lane, but Bigatron Alpha didn't utilize that at all to create space. Now, if they do not want to control the neutral objectives, then don't. Then go to the other side of the lane, other side of the map, where you actually still have a winning lane to play with. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Divine Judgment popped in, Gani.
Ooh, just popped in though. Just a cheeky attempt there. Yeah, all spells from the side of RRQ mostly. It will be on cooldown. So with that information, will Bigatron find an initiation here? It seems like they're playing it, both teams playing it rather passively here for the first 4 minutes almost.
Honestly, I think RRQ, they want to be as aggressive as possible for the neutral objective takes. Bigatron Alpha, I think they're waiting for that 5-minute mark to be able to get anything on the side lanes, which is why we're not seeing too much of aggression coming in from both. But I might be wrong here, so Rizzo on the side.
Oh my god, it gets in with the turret fight as well. So Rizzo, final slash. Oh, he survives here. But Clay, 1 HP, will not be able to take down Banana. Will be able to take Sorizo down bot side.
Almost an outplay there by Sorizo, utilizing the final slash, but he could have just chosen the defensive flicker. That was a miscalculation, but also a good outplay from the side of RRQ. But now it's going to be Bigatron Alpha on the other side of the map, now with their winning lane, setting the turtle up better.
Divine Judgment onto its spin though, flickers away. Numenum Blast insta, lockdown, does not connect onto any member. RRQ grabbing the space, grabbing more ground with no resources in hand. Bigatron Alpha will not be able to contest.
1,300 gold lead for RRQ already in the early game. And now it's looking tough. If RRQ can snowball with this early game lead that they have been able to get for themselves, it might be difficult for Bigatron Alpha in the later stage of the game. However, because of the choices of Emblem in that gold lane, Bigatron Alpha, they do still have the Melissa to scale into that late game.
Yeah, and also, again, not sure if it's a creative decision here or a miscalculation, but Skylar was the one who actually took the turtle with his first skill. Now, I think it's actually a good thing that Skylar got it. He's been behind in lane for a bit, so getting a little bit of XP, and with the turtle buff, it does give him more sustain to lane against Sakin on this Melissa. Looking at itemization as well, though, it does seem like even though Melissa is in that winning lane, he hasn't been able to accumulate that much of a gold lead, even going for steel leg plates.
Aluminum blast just to zone out again. It's just a turret take here. RRQ suffocating their opponent. Bigatron Alpha, they need to be proactive with the flicker divine judgment, but 5 minutes in, 6 minutes in, I see no huge play.
No huge play. And if you're talking about the gold lane, even Arlet is behind 1,000 gold against the Lapu Lapu, so it's not a good look for Bigatron Alpha at the moment. And there you go, see the gold differences here by Ubes Gold.
This is going to be big, I mean, for RRQ, right? They can really utilize this now. Remember, the mid-game power spike is about to hit. Valentina, Lapu, even the Brody, they might be able to end it in the 12-minute mark if Bigatron Alpha aren't careful. But I do really want to talk about this, right? You're already losing in that gold lane when it comes to farm, and you try or you utilize your gold to go for the steel leg plates in a winning lane. I think, again, this is Sakin, unfortunately, from what I've seen from CW or all the successful Melissas in Season 11 so far, even when they were losing, they're still going to prioritize these offensive items, knowing they have such a big range advantage and that go away. A bit too passive maybe for Sakin.
See though, it's a setup, 5-man setup already from side of RRQ. Clay taking down a key. First, Aluminum Blast connects on towards one as well. Sakin down. Take a look at Albert on towards Super Ken here just to zone him away. Now RRQ, they want the mid side here. Can Sakin do the clear? He will, but the mid tier 1 will fall as well. RRQ stunning Super Ken there with the smooch by Skylar. And RRQ already leading 3,000 gold lead.
They're styling at this point, and honestly, the way that things unfolded earlier in that team fight is usually seeing RRQ go in for the stun or the pickoff on Tiki, the roamer isn't worth it. But in that moment, the fact is Key was the only person who would be able to create a play onto anyone from RRQ that might have been able to get a good pickoff on the board. They realized that Sakin doesn't have the damage just yet, and RRQ were able to capitalize over Key being taken off the board, and they're trying to do it again.
Aluminum Blast combined with heavy spin. Key again was the #1 target. Perhaps they really want to shut down the playmaker here. RRQ, they want the bot side. Abba gets stunned, the suppression comes in. Oh! Super Ken finding the kill. Banana jumps in with the Festival of Blood as well. Oh, take a look at the last spell vamp, but Sorizo have a say. Take a look at the stun, then taking a lot of damage, gets taken out. And now it's going to be the stun connecting on towards Skylar. Sakin finding the kill as well. 3 members of the RRQ taken out.
Very interesting move there by RRQ. Having a 5,000 gold lead built, they choose to dive to tier 1 instead of utilizing the winning, obviously the winning with the gold lead to get at least an even fight. Fighting underneath the enemy turret now, giving away a lot of their gold lead, especially toward the member you do not want to see that gold lead on. Banana though, jumping in on the Sakin.
Is this the right move here? Sakin kiting away, juking away. A lot of resources spent already. But it seems like Bigatron, they will not commit on towards the new EXP later, the debutee. So.
Yeah, I think things would have been a little bit more different if Sakin had his ultimate, right? He would have been able to kite around Banana, honestly. And luckily, though, for Bigatron Alpha, there were the other team members in the vicinity to be able to back him up. But I think that was a really good call by Banana.
Yeah, it was a very good call. And again, fun fact, Brave Spider, the anti-CC part goes through the go away. So that's also one thing that they need to note. RRQ can utilize this to dive, and even though the go away is placed, it will most probably just be added physical defense for Saken. Maybe that's why he went for the steel leg plate. A bit passive, but maybe they need it now with the amount of threats towards that back line. Now, Big Turn Alpha in the neutral objective take, they will have a bit more to say because of the gold lead that has been kind of minimalized.
Oh, Super Ken stunned, but it seems like it's not more here. Nothing more to engage. Both teams now. Oh, Albert jumps in onto a Super Ken, taking a lot of damage. Banana flanking, taking the top side as well. Keys taking Vin away. Banana will almost solo kill Super Ken. Moon and Blast just to clear. So Rizzo lower HP. Albert will find the Lord. No casualties, but it's messy. So Rizzo now very low, looking for the recall. Will he do it? Oh my God! So Rizzo will not be able to go home. That's playing Albert now looking for the kill. Albert gets it. 6-3 and the Lord.
Again, Bigatron Alpha 2 gun shy earlier on in the Lord pit. We did see a little bit of an engage coming in from Skylar and Clay towards Super Ken, but they didn't utilize that man advantage. Banana was in the mid lane. They could have just tried to force something with the Kaja, play with the pickoff game, but they are too passive here in this game. Looking at the itemization, Saken hasn't really hit that core power spike with a golden snap. And if we even take a look at the Lancelot here, only 2 items compared. Actually, this is pretty impressive. I'm looking at it here. Super Ken has been picked up twice compared to Albert only once. But in terms of gold, it does show that his pathing has been phenomenal. One of the pillars for design of Bigatron Alpha. At this point, it really comes down to Bigatron Alpha waiting for those power spikes to hit, because RRQ's composition will fall off with the Brody. The thing is, will they be able to, with such a big lead that they've already accumulated here in the 11th minute, with Skylar hitting his big power spike, Hunter Strike, BOD, Melfic Roar. That's a lot of burst, and the frontliners from Bigatron Alpha, I can't even call them frontliners right now.
Very interesting situation indeed here, Mirko. I mean, RRQ 5,000 gold lead already in hand, and it seems like Bigatron Alpha, with their play here with Saken in that Melissa, I gotta say no factor. Saken more like Saken do it.
Oh, what?
I mean, you can do that for Ken too, because it's can't, right? I like the wordplay, Gani.
Super Kent. Oh, that's sad. But Saken there already has the golden staff. Maybe that might help them in the future team fight that is definitely brewing right now. Remember, RRQ, they want to close this as soon as possible as well because of how the Saken and the Brody matchup goes in the later stage of the game. But look at Key here. He's going to look for something.
I think right now, Key...
Oh, Key, Skylar!
Oh, but the thing is, they've already covered up all the holes, right? Even if Key gets a Divine Judgment, it's probably him kind of suiciding there. There's a lot of RRQ members around. Meanwhile, Saken is a bit too far to really follow it up. Here in the damage dealt department, man, we gotta give it to Banana. A lot of doubts, a lot of hate sent to this man after his performance in Season 10. Right now, though, he's performing really well. Against Sorizo with the ganks, he has been able to win in that losing lane.
And Banana has always been the one to zone a Super Ken away from the objectives. He has done a lot for his team on the Lapu Lapu here in the first game. And we'll see, right? Coming into the next few seconds, both teams, they are going to try and set up for this next forward take better. Keep an eye out on Banana and the way that he rotates around the team fight.
Alright, we need to be careful here as RRQ. They're setting up for the Lord take here. Bigatron, they're also silently setting it up as well. Will they commit though? KE has the flicker Divine Judgment, will not commit onto it any member just yet though. Albert and Can here, head to head. It seems like no one is pulling the trigger just yet here.
They can't, right, for Bigatron and for RRQ. They just want to utilize this. The Lord Dance to bait Bigatron Alpha out.
Going?
Now they're finally going. Both conceals have been popped. Key is looking for a prio target.
See, Sorizo and for Banana. Lord is at 10,000 HP. They need to make a move now to secure the Divine Judgment. Open for the airstrike pop. Super Ken jumps in as well. Bindo gets taken out first. Sorizo trying to deal damage, but the Lord will fall to the hands of Albert. Sorizo though will claim another another. As Skyler now flickers away. Albert, can he retreat? It seems like no resources left for this guy, but I may be wrong here. Saken not to do it. RRQ still with the Lord.
But that was a huge dub though for Bigatron Alpha, right? Okay, RRQ was able to get the Lord, but can they translate it onto anything? Look at the lanes right now. They're pushing in favor of Bigatron, but it seems like they're going for another engage.
Oh,
Wow,
over
wait.
with Banana! And Skyler finds Farsa. Saken gets taken out as well. They overcommitted in the top side, and the Kings of Kings, they were able to sabotage that play.
I guess I understand what they were trying to go for there. Albert was really low. They tried to actually get him off the board, but again, that's a utility jungler. RRQ, they were able to utilize that perfectly. If Albert dies there, it would still have been worth it for the side of RRQ. For the side of Bigatron, though, that engage basically means the base turret's gone. They might actually lose all 3 base turrets, maybe even the game.
Oh, Banana already zoning in the front side. Clay, deal out damage. They will not commit to a fight just yet here. Flicker, Numenon Blast will not be popped as well. Bigatron Alpha, I thought they got the team fight earlier, but what happened? Yeah, they overcommit.
Why do they keep doing this? Sure, they saw an opportunity, but in the long run, it became crazy unworth it, right? Losing 2 inhibitor turrets. They should have been able to get RQ's 2 second-tier turrets, honestly, in the bottom and the mid side. Huge blunder by Bigatron Alpha.
Optimally, yeah, they would have been able to actually go for a trade, maybe a tier 2 at least for the Lord, but
Yeah.
you know, that didn't happen. Again, even if they didn't go in, they would have actually been able to defend with the evolved Lord, with the enhanced Lord marching in, right? RRQ had a few members down. They would have had a little bit more hits to poke the Lord down little by little. So, like you said, a massive blunder that Bigatron Alpha did. They got a pretty good team fight in despite the Lord going to the hands of RRQ, but it comes down to just them being gun shy in the wrong moments and going in at the wrong moments. It comes down to decision making, because at the Lord pit, when every single resource was used up by RRQ towards the Lord, they didn't pull the trigger. They were still very hesitant to actually jump in to the RRQ members. When the Lord was right in front of their faces, when Albert, the utility jungler, was low, they decided to pull the trigger, to step on the gas pedal for a utility jungler. Let's take a look at the in-game equipment by Dunia Games here. It does seem like, again, Saken will opt to go for the Wind of Nature instead of finishing up the Melted Roar first, opting for more defense. Meanwhile, for Skyler, full items, and actually, he went for the DHF instead of the Heptaseas. Again, though, Bigatron Alpha, they use the Conceal, they get a position for a bit, but they do not want to commit onto anyone. They do not flank, and it becomes so easy to read for RRQ.
Seems like here RRQ, they're still waiting as well. I mean, there are 5,000 ahead, but it seems like they are still keeping that discipline, keeping that momentum in check, right? Super Ken here taking his time as well. I don't know, with this time though, I mean, Melissa Saken can build up 2 more items as well, right? He is on his way towards that last item.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, the Malefic Roar now secured, so damage-wise, he is active.
You have to be careful though with the side lanes, right? I think RRQ, they're doing a really good job of holding that. But wait a minute!
Blade caught, but destruction is there, but he survives with a nature pops as well. Take a look at Skyler. Oh, Banana is the front side, trying to find an item, trying to find a kill. So Rizzo though down first, Banana Immortal popped. The Lord, who will get it? Oh my God, it's gonna be Albert again! Super Ken now trying to find a kill, gets it, Vin gets taken out. But now Skyler finds Super Ken as well, 2 for 1. But RRQ gets the Lord.
Albert is so good and so composed in that neutral objective take. Despite how much damage he was receiving, despite the chaotic movements from Bigatron Alpha, he waited the last second possible to pop in the ultimate and therefore prevent Super Ken from getting a objective, the Lord, and even his life got taken away at the end by the damage coming in from Skylar.
With Clay down, you expect Bigatron to pull the trigger. Again, another case of them being gun-shy. It was a 4v5. Clay had to recall, and they still did not want to commit. Sakan was waiting in the back for Christmas at that point, and it didn't work out.
Oh, 5v5 now. Let's see. Lord is taken care of. Baser at bot side. Will not be able to defend this one, I guess. All at Baser taken down. Base from side of Bigatron Alpha now exposed, but RRQ, they are not going to be looking for a end game here. It seems like they're going to take it back slow. And let's see the Lex Lord.
They still have to be wary, right? Because Moreno is nearly, if I'm not mistaken, full damage items as well. He has the Feather Airstrike, and the damage is going to come through for Bigatron Alpha. But it seems like, ladies and gentlemen, we do have a technical pause.
We really need to talk about that team fight, man, because if Clay isn't there when he's got picked off, you can say it's not a pick-off entirely because he did not lose his life, but him being so low basically forced him out of the fight. He recalled. Clay was out of there, right? It was a free kill if he stayed. 4v5. Sakan against a clumped-up RRQ. Sure, Banana at first jumped in. I can understand the isolation there. That was well played by Banana. Sakan had to pull back. Banana low, losing the immortality though. They went straight in front. No Banana, no Clay. Albert with the heavy spin used already to the Lord. Sakan was still waiting in the bush. Brody was waiting in the bush too, but it's a Brody. He's waiting for the back line. Sakan had the Inspire, had the tools, had the space necessary to jump in. It was a man advantage. If they don't go in there, I don't know when they want to go in.
That's very funny. That's a funky situation, but oh, ladies and gentlemen, you take a look at the audience cam right here, right now. It's the MPL date.
It's the promo code.
It's a promo code.
They got the discount from using the MPL date promo code, and they came.
Here they are.
And here they are.
Wow, with their dates.
The dates.
Where's Rashi? I want to see Rashi with his date.
I think Rashi is actually in the building. I wonder when the audience cam is going to show him. Rashi, where are you?
I think Rashi is with Shepin. Right? Watching together.
That's true.
Makes sense, right? Oh, I want to see cameraman pull up Rashi and Shepin together on these beautiful themed audience cam. But ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. If you just stay tuned here, 40,000 viewers. Wow.
42,000.
42,000. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. And yeah, welcome. It's still game one.
And please be patient with us, ladies and gentlemen. The pause is still being resolved right now. Again, given the time for the players to fix their issues. But right now, the problem still stays. Gani and Eterna, Bigatron Alpha, they're not fighting when they need to, and they're not fighting when they need to. Basically, that's it, right?
Still, same story, same concept.
And they're fighting when they don't need to.
I think that's their identity here from side of Bigatron.
Season 11, I think it's harsh, but it's the reality. It's a very harsh reality that we live in for Bigatron Alpha. But you're right, it feels like so far that's it right now. We can see again there, MPL date from Kalsel. Shout out to everybody watching from Kalimantan in Indonesia. We got some representatives, and also people have shown support for Banana and Lemon, the fruits of RRQ.
The fruits of RRQ indeed. I think the gallery got displayed there. The photo gallery, hopefully nothing is there, nothing sus is there, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my lord. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, it's still a 0-0 between the Red Robots and RRQ. Ladies and gentlemen, if you missed leg one, it was RRQ defeating the Red Robots. They were able to sabotage the Red Robots 2-0. Let's see if they can do that again. We're still having some little bit of trouble here. I want to hear your thoughts, Eterna. How are you enjoying this match?
Honestly, I am enjoying it. I've just been making looks, I think, at Miracle for whenever Bigatron keeps going for a weird end gauge and going in for overcommitments, because I think we're on the same page when we say that they had the better draft from the early game. One, they were unable to execute it in all the ways possible. And when they were able to get a really good team fight and get the man advantage, they don't do what they were supposed to do. Either they get gun shy at the wrong time or they overcommit at the wrong time. So it's really all or nothing with Bigatron, and the all or nothing has always been kind of questionable, and it has led to this point. Honestly, I don't see Bigatron Alpha being able to make it into the playoffs if they keep making the same mistakes over and over and over again. And honestly, me and Mirko might be red zone besties at the end of all this.
Hey man, Bigatron is a red team or a fire too, right? I mean, it seems like it for now if they aren't really able to make the proper adjustments. RRQ have built up a 7.3k gold lead. Now, fortunately for Bigatron, unfortunately for RRQ, this gold lead won't really matter as we get into the later stages of the game. 20 minutes, look at the items right now in-game equipment as we jump in back to the game by Dunia Games. Here, even though the gold lead is still pretty massive between the mid lane and the gold lane, full items have been built by both teams. That will mean that RRQ's power will have been limited now. Meanwhile, for Bigatron Alpha, it has risen by a lot. And in these team fights, it just comes down to how they mechanically and macro set up the fights, right? Again, Saken, a lot of space to go for it earlier. This is when they need to make these decisions. They need to make the risky decisions. They have 3 base turrets down. If they play a textbook, if they wait for RRQ to make the proactive move on them, they're gonna lose.
True, true. So, like you mentioned, it really depends on how both these teams execute it. I don't know why, but I feel like Bigatron Alpha's calculation and setup, it's a little bit off. It makes the question, or brings up the question, who's making these shots? Who's the shot caller right now? Is it Key still? Who is it? Because it hasn't really been on point. I don't think that the synergy is 100% there as well. One person goes in, gets picked off, and then the rest fall in, but late, and that just gives RRQ the advantage. But we'll see here. 22 minutes in the game. Remember, the death timers are huge. One mistake is going to be punished severely by both of these teams. As RRQ, they're already brought the Lord to half health here with Albert just ready for the trigger.
Let's see, right? 24,000 HP. Key with the conceal. Moving on towards Clay, gets the suppression, but no damage. Oh, Clay gets deleted. Instantly been past the Immortal. 5v4 now. Will Bigatron be able to win this? Pass claw secured. Banana trying to find a flank. The Lord will be again secured by RRQ. Banana finding a kill. RRQ now looking for a fight. So Rizzo trying to wreak havoc as well. But Banana jumps in with the Bravest Spider. What again? Finding the flicker onto Wes Moreno. But it seems like Banana will not be taken down just yet. Skylar in the backside, free hitting Key. Finds it. Oh my god, that's a huge stun on towards Skylar and Albert. Swindler's runching though. But now with the Lord, they're not able to end the game again. Bigatron with the defense. Bigatron with an amazing team fight. Once again, they were able to fend off of the base. Is being targeted by the Lord. He doesn't care about the other heroes in his way. He has one goal in mind, and it's to make Bigatron fans cry. At this point, 4.5k gold lead. Doesn't matter at all. It comes down to how they set it up, and unfortunately for Bigatron Alpha, fortunately for RRQ, again, it was a better setup from RRQ. Now, the main mistake from RRQ is committing onto that Lord dance. They really shouldn't have. I mean, going up against Bigatron Alpha, who have reached their peak when it comes to just that power spike, why did they choose to go for a 50-50? It worked out because they had better mechanics. Albert still somehow was able to scrape the retribution off despite having 2 members down, and that saved RRQ. RRQ need to understand the 3 base turrets means it's a massive advantage. They can't let it slow push. They can't just play the Lord dance, make Bigatron Alpha frustrated, and make them, force them, not make them, force them to make the desperate play.
I agree with you. I agree with you. I don't know why RQ actually committed onto it. And luckily enough, the Akai still has been able to get the Lord, honestly, because at this point, it should be Bigatron Alpha with the better late game power and value, honestly, up until this point. Because like you see on your screen here, in-game equipment, everybody is full items at this point. What is the main difference? I guess here, there's only one difference that I see. I think the Brody especially is going to have to build that Athena shield because of Moreno and the damage output that he's able to give with the range. Whereas something like the Melissa, the way that she's able to maneuver around and the lack in range of the Valentina, and the fact that Clay is always the one to get targeted in these team fights first gives him a little bit more space to build more damage items right now. But in that team fight, I didn't really see that Saken was able to dish out the damage earlier on. I guess the kiting game was still in favor of him, but that was because of Barissa's kit in general.
If that's your question in that fight, it was because of the muddle placement. The muddle placement from Saken is not really on point in that position right there. I think he got a little bit too hasty. Again, for Bigatron Alpha, these little mechanical mistakes are happening where they're not going to be able to dish out enough damage. You're right, two-man advantage. They still weren't able to dish out as much damage as RQ. Why? Muddle placement. Replay that whole clip. Notice how the muddle placement was a bit too hasty at every single time. He's not waiting for the right moment to pop it. He's instead just throwing it out like it's a poke skill.
Let's see here again, RRQ. Well, you're right, minute number 25, 26 now, ladies and gentlemen. Gold already at equilibrium at this point. Again, at this point, it's just the stacked items, right? Let's see who will pull the trigger first. Oh, Supercan getting that lethal. Will that be a game changer? Let's see with the setup. Clay in the back. Brody up top with Lolita. Will this affect RRQ in a good way or in a bad way? Let's see.
I think right now, both of these teams, they're trying to set up these side lanes as best as they can. RRQ, they're looking to use this Lord as a bait, seeing the positioning in from Skylar as well as Vin. Bigatron Alpha, they need to be careful here.
Two sides being threatened at once here, and again, this can just be a split push. Chorizo is doing really well to stop that from happening, but Bigatron Alpha should notice this. There you go, they finally pull the trigger. They notice that two members are gone.
With a stretching though by Banana. Suppression comes through, no clear follow-up damage. Banana now trying to find a flank. Oh, Skylar and Lolita in the backside. Banana quite low. Still has the motor, but Albert finds still, and Saken gets taken down. Banana pops the Immortal, and take a look at KE falls as well. Moreno is gonna go down as well. And things are not looking good here for the Red Robots. RRQ now looking for the kill, finding it as well as RRQ build a three-man takedown. They might look for the end, knowing just Chorizo and Supercan defending, terrified through, connecting, and Chorizo say bye-bye. Clay finding the kill, and it's game one. RRQ.